Let us move on to a little show that is premiering. Well, it's got a weird multifaceted premiere where it's going to premiere online first, and then it'll premiere on the Disney Channel, and then it'll finally premiere on the actual network that it's going to air on, which is Star Wars Rebels.
Yay!
And you're yaying it because you and I saw it at the same screening.
Yes.
And
it was. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to say. I know we both had a very positive reaction, and share your positive reaction.
I had a very positive reaction to. We saw 2 episodes. I think it was the first and the 6th.
Yeah, we saw the hour-long premiere.
Yes.
And then we saw an additional episode that will air 4th or 6th or something like that. It's a few
down
in.
the line.
Yeah.
And that was a little more action-packed.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the first episode a lot. I thought it set everything up really well. The characters, I don't think that there was, and you give me your feedback on this too, I don't think there was one that felt to me like the standout just yet, which was nice in a way because it felt like a really nice ensemble.
Yeah.
They established the rapport really well. The world, which we already know the world, but still, you still have to sort of locate yourself in this period of time, which is a really interesting, cool, rich period of time.
Yes, it is. A lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I mean, they're underground, man. It's dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I love seeing it on that screening too because there were also little kids there.
Yeah.
Which they have the most amazing things to say always
yes,
about
they
this
do.
material.
Yeah.
There was one point that they were breaking into, I won't give anything away, but they were breaking into a place to get a thing. And this little kid was just like, the Empire does not have very good security.
Right. And there was some very upset reactions to some things. It was it's very interesting. I thought it was a great premiere, very strong. My wife loved it. She loved it. It's really fun, and they said that they wanted to evoke the feel of the original Star Wars, and I think they did, and it's really tough to do that, and I think they really nailed it.
And they played with it too, right?
Yeah.
They played with some iconic lines, and
they definitely they have the sort of in jokes and nods to things we know, and it's been frustrating for me anytime we write about this show. To see some of the pessimism, and I know internet pessimism is, very popular pastime or pre-hate. But here's the thing, guys, I know, dark is cool. Dark. It's so cool when things are dark, and dark is cool. But it's okay when things aren't dark, too. And to think that, first, it's just, I think, wrong to think that Star Wars, its normal default setting or where it should be is really dark and dangerous. And I'm not saying that can't be part of Star Wars and hasn't been part of some great Star Wars, but that's not what this show is going for. It is a lighter tone than Clone Wars would be. Clone Wars is a weird show because Clone Wars tonally was all over the map, which I really think is because Lucas was heavily involved in Clone Wars, and so he's totally over the map. So this show will not be as dark as Clone Wars got at its darkest.
right.
But it also doesn't shy away from showing things happen, the reality of the situation.
No, it doesn't. And in fact, in this, I believe it was in the 6th episode, the 2nd episode that we saw.
Right.
There's something that I find very, very dark.
Yeah.
But it's one of those interesting things that people that are really good at family media entertainment are able to do something that as an adult lands as extremely dark, but a kid won't necessarily see it that way.
Right.
And there was a moment that I was like, I found it truly heartbreaking. We'll discuss later.
Yes.
But the kids were okay with it. It didn't kind of mess up their heads or anything like that. I think it's a very balanced tone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not like there's goofy moments, but it's not like, oh, it's so goofy, that the weight of the situation is lost. It's not.
I really would describe it as a adventure story in all the right sense of that, and at Lucas's best sense of that, whether it be Star Wars or Indiana Jones, as far as we're having fun. The danger is real, and has consequences, but we are not trying to be a bleak, nihilistic story at the same time.
No, it's heading into a new hope.
Right. And I really like the characters. I agree. It's no one's the standout. It's an ensemble, but I like them all.
Yeah.
And they work well together. The banter, they're trying very hard to make this sort of squabbling family unit, but I think they do it, very well as far as like the quickly establishing they are prototype characters as Star Wars always does,
Yeah.
but ones I liked and I wanted to spend more time with.
I did too, and I will say that like all of my favorite space adventures have that quality of like the family unit, the slightly dysfunctional family unit from Star Wars, but also Firefly, and also I think that's really one of the reasons I love Guardians so much is that it just hits me in that spot. I really liked it. I mean, I don't want to oversell it because it's always a danger.
Of course. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, exactly. But I really did like it. I mean, and I was excited to see where it goes in the next one and things like that.
And I will say, to not be a everything about it was perfect person, I will say my notable complaint was. Look, I am accepting of the fact that the animation does not look as detailed or as nuanced as Clone Wars. I know that it's on a faster schedule than Clone Wars, and I think it does show in that Clone Wars would just get so amazingly atmospheric. The show still looks good, except for the Wookiees. They did not look good. That was one thing where I was like, oh, they look weird.
Well, the Wookiees, it's funny because the Wookiees... There's the introduction of a certain Wookiee where it was very clear they were targeting the kids in that moment, and I could see the toys happening. You know what I mean? Like the toys were being manufactured in front of my eyes in that moment. I agree with you. They did look really weird. However, the little one was really cute.
Oh no, it still worked. It was the one moment that kind of did. Especially, you can't help but compare to Clone Wars. It just happened right before this. Dave Filoni was such an integral part of both those shows. And I remember when they finally showed Chewbacca several years into Clone Wars, he said, "Well, one reason we held off on having any Wookiees is fur's pretty damn hard to do on CGI on a TV schedule and budget." And so they waited, and then he looked pretty good. This doesn't look as good as that, and so it's hard not to be like, but yeah, it's ultimately a minor quibble for a show that I really enjoy, and again, don't want to oversell it. It's not going to be for everyone, especially Star Wars fans who, at a certain age might want something that's a little different and that isn't going in such I keep going back to the same words, but fun is, I think, overall what they're trying for.
Yeah, and that really will hit with the children. I mean, I would say do watch this with kids if you can, because it's amazing. The little nugget of a girl right next to me at the very end, it was all over. She just turns to her dad and she goes, "There is no try."
Yeah.
And if that's not magic, I just don't know what it
is. It's definitely awesome, and it does show that Star Wars is continuing to very much
generation
resonate.
After generation after generation. That's really that's amazing to me. To watch. I mean, she probably, I don't know if she had seen. She was really little, so I don't think she's seen Clone Wars.
Right.
This may have been her very first introduction to that line, and she still picked it out.
Yeah.
And
I think there is a lot to enjoy there for Star Wars fans of all ages. Not for everyone. But certainly I'm very excited to see more. And before we move on from Rebels, because I know you wanted to mention this, the Inquisitor.
Yes.
Yes, who is the main villain. We've seen clips of him. We even have a clip on the site on IGN you can see from a lightsaber battle that's from that episode we saw, the later one.
Okay. Yes. All right. I went with you went with your wife. I went with my boyfriend, and he really enjoyed the experience as well. But he at the end of it, he turns to me and he goes, "All right, by the end of this, they better have a really good reason why Darth Vader's lightsaber doesn't have tap dance and disco and have 6 prongs and do everything, because they have all of the villains have these amazing, elaborate, crazy, cool, high-tech lightsaber." And then Vader comes in and he's like, "And this is my answer. He don't need it.
He doesn't need it. He's so powerful. He doesn't need it.
He's so bad."
Yeah, because Inquisitor's not a Sith. He might have some dark side abilities, but he's not a Sith.
He's not a Sith.
He's got to make up for it,
Yeah. Vader's like, "I'm all class. I don't need show."
But I will say, Jason Isaacs voices the Inquisitor, and he's perfect.
He's great.
And he has he's an intimidating, cool character that you want him to be, definitely.
He is, and I wonder. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that plays out over the seasons. I assume that they, anyway, I won't get into that kind of speculation just yet. But I will say it wouldn't it wouldn't hurt if they just had a little line about why Vader does not have a crazy lightsaber.
Right. Have you ever thought of getting one of those? And
He's just like, nah,
no,
man.
no. Yeah, we'll be talking plenty more about Star Wars Rebels.
Good estimates.
We'll talk about Star Wars Rebels once it's premiered and everyone's got a chance to see it. But yeah, so far we are excited for this show.